childhood was not pleasant at all. Unfortunately, my mother had an accident and she was bedridden for most of my early childhood. But by the time I started school, there was already talk about Hitler being the new chancellor of Germany. Excuse me, I have a cold too. So my father decided to put my sister and me right away in a Jewish school. Because if you go to a German school, sooner or later, it wouldn't work out. And I'm very, very happy he did that. Because we had Hebrew every morning for 1 hour, 5 days a week. And Friday we had the Bible for 2 hours. But unfortunate, when Hitler was bad, we couldn't even go to school. At first it wasn't too bad, but then later on, when we were walking to school, kids across the street used to throw rocks at us, especially in the winter. They throw snowballs, and right inside I can still feel the pain, and he was sitting there and laughing at us and called us dirty Jew. And so it was not pleasant, but at least in the school we had only Jewish children and Jewish teachers. As I said, things were getting worse and worse as Hitler was the chancellor. My father tried very, very hard to get us out. My mother couldn't be moved, so it was impossible to get her out. But in 1936, she passed away, and then we thought, well, now maybe we'll be able to get out of Germany. But as soon as my mother died, my father got sick, and 2 years to the day, he died. So now both are our parents, and I had an older brother. So anyhow, as soon as when my father died, then my brother said, no, there's just the 3 of us left. We're young, we're healthy, let's get out of here. But a couple of months after my father died, a policeman came early in the morning on a Friday morning. It was exactly October 28th. I never forget that day. 7:30 in the morning to take my brother away. He was just getting ready to go to the synagogue to say Kaddish. We went every morning and every evening, twice a day. First for my mother for 11 months, now for my father, every day, twice a day to say Kaddish. And he was just getting out to go there. But the policeman said, well, you didn't do anything, we just want to take you to the police headquarters, ask you some questions. Then he looked at my sister and we were just 2 little kids. Oh, you'll be back soon. And that's the last time I ever saw him. I never saw him again since that day. But 2 days after this happened, this was October 28th, 2 days later was November 1st, the beginning of the month. The doorbell rang, and the landlord, the agent from the landlord, used to come every first of the month to collect the rent. When I saw him outside, I wasn't afraid. I said, well, good morning. You came for the rent, I'll go and get it. He said, no, I didn't come for the rent. I came to ask you 2 girls to leave this apartment at once. I said, boy, we paid up, we don't owe anything. He said, but you're both minors, you cannot stay here. In other words, we were too young, we were old enough to, we were too young to stay in the apartment, but we were old enough to be out in the street. We had no relatives or anybody to go to. Anyhow, so while I was talking to him, my sister already went and got the money, the rent money, which he didn't know what conversation we had. And when he saw all that cash money, in those days we didn't pay by checks or credit card, we paid only cash. So he took the whole month's rent. And he said, okay, I'll let you stay a little longer. But that week was Kristallnacht. I think everybody here probably knows about Kristallnacht, November 9th. And it was terrible. It was really very bad. But I don't want to get into too much this because we want to talk about other things too. And after Kristallnacht, we didn't know where to go, what to do. My sister went through the apartment. She said there were 5 of us living here. Now there's only 2 of us left. My father's clothes was still hanging there. My brother's clothes was there. We left everything behind. We didn't take just a few small pictures. That's all we took. And we went But we were very, very lucky. God sent me an angel. Somebody that knew my father. And he said, what are you two girls doing out in the street in this cold weather? It's freezing out there. So I said, well, they threw us out from the apartment. So he said, well, I knew your mother passed away a couple of years ago, but what happened to your dad? I said, he just passed away a couple of months ago. Well, didn't you have an older brother? I said, yeah, but the police came and took him away. And now we're minors who cannot stay. So this man said, oh my God, what is this world coming to? So he said, well, I have only a one-bedroom apartment, but if you want to sleep in the bathroom, you're welcome. I said, thank you. So my sister slept in the bathtub, and he put up a folding bed next to it, the bathtub, and I slept on this. But we couldn't stay very long. Well, first, because before we turned around, it was Christmas. It was November, and it was December, and our younger brother came in a Nazi uniform. He wanted to spend Christmas instead. The lady was not Jewish, she was a German Christian. But she was wonderful. She welcomed us with open arms, and she was really wonderful. But then her husband said, well, I heard that England opened up visas for 10,000 children up to the age of 16, and you will probably, both of you, qualify. You're orphans, you're homeless, you're less than 16, so you will be able to go. So I said, well, and he must have made the application. Well, it took 9 months before we got the okay to go to England. But unfortunately, by that time, my sister already had a birthday and she was 2 months too old. If we would have gotten it in May, she could go, but her birthday was in May. I got the paper in July. So she couldn't go, but I could go. I was very happy, but she was like my mother because she was only 2 years older than me. But she was like my mother because since my mother was sick, I was only 3 years old. She always said, take care of the little one. And when she was the oldest, she was 5. But still, she used to wash my hair. She did everything for me like a mother. And I was just very happy that I could go to England. But of course, since my father died, I haven't been back to school because we were like
To tell the rest of her story to anybody that wants to know it, she is very open and she would just love to.
You want to tell? You want? We have one call. You want to tell about your growing up?
I need to ask you another question.
Yeah.
What memory or what would you like to tell your children, your grandchildren, and what would you like to say? So tell us what you would like to leave to us.
To leave the message? Don't you want to talk first?
Yeah.